صباح الخير, good morning. In this video we'll learn together about data science using Python. So how to calculate average of rows, which is some of the operations of the data manipulation on Python. So we have a matrix, a 2D dimensional array, 2-dimensional array X. The average or means of the elements of the rows is called row means. So the task here, we are given a 2-dimensional array, return the row means. So if we have x and y, and x is a number of rows and y is a number of columns, so this is 2-dimensional array. So we need to calculate the mean or the average of each row and return it to another array. This array will contain just the average of the rows in the last or the previous 2-dimensional array. Okay, so here input format, first the two integers separated by spaces. These two integers are the number of rows. The first one is the number of rows and the second one is the number of columns. So we have 2 rows and 2 columns in this 2-dimensional array. And then we have the data in each row. So the first row we have these values 1.5 and then 1. So in the index of 0, the first element, index of 0, is the value is 1.5, and the index of 1, which is the second element, the value is 1. And then the second row, the first value is 2 of the index of 0, and the second value of index of 1 is 2.9. So here the sample output will be this. This is the average of the first row, and the second is the second average of the second row. If we have 3 rows or 5 rows or 10 rows or 100 rows, we will see 2 rows here, 5 rows, 2 elements here for average, or 5 elements or 100 elements. For each row we have the mean or the average. How to calculate this using the Python code? So first of all, we will use the NumPy library. So import NumPy as NEB, and then we will enter the values of the x of the rows, which is n here, and of the columns, which is b, by this function, greet function mixed. We will use the integer x for x in input dot split, because we have here splitting by space. So here we have different elements here. So the first element of the rows and second elements of the columns. So and here the space is the splitter. We use the split function to get each element. So the first will be the number of rows and the second will be the number of columns. Then we will create or declare a dynamic empty array named store, and then we will create a for loop for getting entered data through appending store. So every time we will append this array, store array, by the new element we will get by input function. So here we will use the input append function, and then this append function will include the input function dot split function, because here we have the values, the next values. So we will split these values through space, split using the space. Store array, it's another array. This store array has initialization. It will equal NB, which is the NumPy library, which include the array function, and then the array function D will include the store array, comma D type float, because these values are floating numbers. Then we will reshape this store array and assign it to restore, restore. So restore array will store array dot reshape n o and b as a parameters. So we will reshape it as n and b. So before reshaping it, it was just all the elements is stored in just one row. So we reshape it to will be in n rows and b columns using this function, reshape function, okay? And the parameters of n and b which we entered or get it before through this line of code, okay? So here this is will be control C, and here will be to restore array, not restore, okay? This is sample modification. Then number 4, create declare a dynamic empty array named result for getting mean, the means of rows in restore or restore array as a data set. So we define a new empty array result, and then we define a variable which is a counter which will be used in the next loop, m equals 0, and then while m less than n, which is the number of rows, result dot append restore array, okay? And here m and just we need the row number, okay, and all the columns in this row, and calculate the mean of this row, okay, and round to 2. So we have to round the decimal points up to 2 digits after the decimal point, this round function. And then we will increment the counter by 1, m equals m plus 1 or m plus equals 1. This is a simple code we know from the C++ and from the C language, and in JavaScript and Java, all these are using this simple code. Converting the data set in result array to actual array by assigning it to result array through the NB array function. This is the result array, okay? The result array, and then will be printed, okay? So this is initialized directly and printed here. So here, not converting, okay? If there is